The idea I'll be sharing in this video, I've been thinking about the same for past 1 year. In short,
ये आपकी जिंदगी की आखिरी रेस साबित हो सकती है।
दौड़ूंगा भी वैसे ही।
I think I do have answers to two of the most pressing issues of our time. First is financial stability around the globe, and second is climate change. I will be covering the topic in a three-part series. First, backing currency with carbon capture. Second, fundamental change in GDP to measure growth. And in third, we'll discuss about financial inclusion with CBDC. I know that I've made a tall claim, so stay connected because like any other video of carbon capitalist, you won't find this one anywhere on the internet. Initially, we'll start with the basics and from there, we'll build on new ideas. So let's begin. In a highly competitive labor market like India, there is a popular saying in native language. भारत में, इंडिया में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, भारत में बहुत रगड़ है. या तो घिस के चमक जाओगे या मर जाओगे. And in the same India, there is nobody listening to your calls of climate action. But what you will hear back is people just asking for 2 times of bread. Today, money is such a medium through which we can measure factors of production of any type of work in any given industry. We can even measure the quality of human labor with it. So money is an index, or we better call it a measuring tape. And through same, we can measure anything that could be sold or bought in the market. Now, if we can measure, we do have a standard framework to work on concepts like net worth, loss, profit, and income. So money is not wealth, money measures wealth. It takes decades and ages to build wealth, but money can be made overnight. A very important part of money which I haven't discussed above is the formation of capital and network. It takes time and effort to build those things, and trust is a crucial element of it. Now in every business we do have supply chain, and other requires collaborative effort from people of different domains and skill set. Now if every link in the chain is sure that I can get my money whenever I want, then least financing will be required. If mason, engineer, architect trust the developer that I can get my money, and if the buyer is confident that I can get my possession on time, the developer can avail the loan at discounted interest rate. So here money is bridging trust and uncertainty. Now money has one more use case, which is its use as storehold of wealth. It means from your today's labor, you want to purchase something that can preserve its value over time irrespective of market condition. Now I do not fully agree with the statement. As developing nations, central bank states that 4% inflation is good for economy. Going by the same number, if each year your wealth is reduced by 4%, at the end of 20 years, you are entitled to just 44% of wealth's value. So cash is a storehold of wealth, but one that comes with a best before disclaimer. So you can't store your wealth as cash indefinitely. Now, if the government regulated currency is unable to provide you with the value it guarantees, or you are not able to buy as many goods and services as before, then people of their time demanded that currency should be backed by commodity like gold, silver, and even corn was used to back currency. So now you can transact the paper currency with the commodity which the banknote guarantees. And in most instances in history, it happens to be gold. The value of gold was ranked higher in comparison to centrally regulated currency because everybody knew about gold. You can sell gold in foreign markets to retain its value in local currency. But now you get RBI governor's signature. It means the whole financial system is backed by an IOU declaration. It is a loan the central banker has taken from every citizen of the country, and he promises to fulfill it by paying back its value in every domestic transaction and in the future. I will be giving this empty promise a solid foundation in this video in just a minute. Now it's been said that we trust gold standard because it's 5000 years old. It has stood the test of time, and that's why in every inflationary environment investors usually hop onto gold. Now each year the relative supply of gold increases at the constant rate of 1.5% per year. So each year we are able to mine 1.5% extra gold than the previous year. Therefore, it is termed as non-inflationary because as previously discussed, the central banks target inflation at least 2% and at maximum of 6%. In all, money just facilitate exchange. So what's valuable in an economy? First, the value is of goods and services, the consumable goods you produced. Second, capital assets, the stuff that's been used in making consumable stuff. Third, productive labor force, the hard work that was required to make consumable goods. Now, productive labor force is an enabler in an economy. And what else is enabler in an economy? It's energy. And if you see internationally, the dollar is considered strong because of its petrodollar relationship. It means if a nation wants to buy oil, it needs to talk in terms of dollar. This is because you either want to grow or you want to withstand difficult economic conditions like war. Till now, we have been accustomed and habitual in using fossil fuels for production of energy. So, what should be valuable in today's time and age? First, life of people and the planet. Second, a more equitable world. Third, a sound monetary system with financial inclusion. And how can we go about it? My idea is to map currency against carbon capture and carbon sinks. Reason being, money is required to run any business, and from it we derive goods and services. And after that, a fraction of profit is allocated to many social compliances, and then whatever that's been left is allocated to CSR or ESG activities related to environment. But like I stated in my previous video, carbon is released along with majorly all industrial outputs, be it coal, petroleum, plastic, manufacturing, and even cement and agriculture produces carbon. The more carbon we release, the more apocalyptic climate emergency we'll experience. So, according to this idea, the society as a whole mandatorily needs to be carbon neutral, and from there, your currency will be derived, which will circulate in an economy. So, we need not to chase after fossil fuel companies for their emissions. And actually, that's been taught in sound ecological economics. Now, let's move on to solution to another problem, which will help us in execution of this idea. That is central bank digital currencies, CBDC in short. The central idea of cryptocurrency is that we don't want any central authority controlling our hard-earned money because they regularly inflate the market, which discounts the value of our work. We want a decentralized system where government do not play any role. Now government across the globe are launching their own cryptocurrencies against it. The programmability of CBDC will allow the couponization of money. How much money you have, what you can buy from that money, when can you spend, how much quantity of something you can buy. All of this can be controlled via CBDC. And we don't even know how to integrate it with our current financial system. With CBDC, it is possible that we will be getting food stamp as a coupon which will expire in a month, like Sodexo's. It is possible that with CBDC you are not able to buy gold or Bitcoin. If government wants people belonging to certain race, ethnicity, religion should have more money, the central banker can credit those accounts. It is possible that in the time of crisis, you won't be able to book tickets to train or flight. And all of this will be happening in the name of economic stability and national integrity. The government can not only control free market, but free speech and free will as well. Over here, I would like to quote Mayor Rothschild, who said, "Let me issue and control nation's wealth and not care who writes the laws." This is the reason we need intervention from free market. The answer I got is back CBDC with carbon sinks. So here, firstly, society needs to build carbon sinks and then peg currency against the assigned rate of per ton carbon capture. The same currency will be regulated in an economy and the same will drive the salaries of employees. Now the idea has its own challenges and critiques. The biggest of all is the cost of operating these technologies. First, carbon capture. Second, CBDC. And third, space tech. How much carbon is absorbed and released can be quantified by satellite data and Earth observation. For all these tech operations, we just can't do with skilled laborers. We will need top minds across the globe. The answer to all these challenges is that we can do all of these on a small scale, as carbon capture and Earth observation are relatively new technologies for the world. Also, we are currently in a trial phase of CBDC. Today, we might not have a concrete solution to climate disaster and financial stability, but now at least we will know what path leads to sustainable future. We can only trust life form rather than inanimate object. But we trust gold standard because it's 5000 years old. But there should be a life form backing humanity's effort. You can't talk to gold and ask, give back the value of my hard earned money. When everywhere in the world we have high inflation, high debt, and food shortages. But we can trust our natural capital. Now, they are either life form or a supportive of a life form. In this system, if a government is unable to provide the value it guarantees, the future industrialists can exploit the carbon reserves from which they can make plastic, artificial wood, fertilizer, biodiesel with conventional processes at discounted market price. Businesses can make goods that are actually deriving value in the market. From carbon emission, again our rivers will dry, our oceans will salinate, and our air will become unbreathable. Governments across the globe will literally need to swear by their national anthem or national flag, as every nation boasts about their natural capital in their flag. This policy has a potential to be most democratic form of money. To this day, the mining of gold and silver are in the hands of limited mafia and lords. Even so, when they are extracted at a steady pace at nearly 1.5% each year. Above that, even local residents do not allow mining. But we do not have any restrictions in this model. If you can afford costly carbon capture plant, you can. If you are a farmer, you can do well with algae culture, which is at max 400 times more efficient than trees in capturing carbon dioxide. It is a photosynthetic bacteria which is 1.2 billion years old. And now lastly, we'll come to the pros of this idea. First, this will be a gigantic symbolic move which can ring alarm in the ears of masses, allowing climate emergency to penetrate in the heart of economy. Second, there will be immense innovation in carbon capture. Third, we need not to mine deep for precious metals. Economies will propel against humans' ability to innovate while keeping the abatement cost associated with the economic activity in check. Fourth, we will be backing our currencies not just with something that is valuable but vital to support life on the earth. Fifth, the carbon neutral business will get a big push. Today, I just don't want to ask for likes and comments. This video has a bigger purpose to accomplish. I want you guys to share this video so that it gets the platform it deserves. Likes of UN, IMF, World Bank, World Economic Forum and COP. And thanks for watching and stay tuned for part 2.